Boo-boo. Hey, hi, hello. Welcome or welcome back to my channel. My name is Jess, and this is Nigel, who does not care that we're filming our video, and we are having a time right now. My room is a disaster. Every time I try to set up stuff, I have it set up in a different angle because I'm tired of that ugly brown closet being behind me. But it's like every home I've lived in always has the closet directly opposite from the window, so that's the best lighting. But then I try to move stuff and I'm just like, I'm in one of those moods where I feel like I want to throw everything away, but then I would regret it. But I just like, this space is not big enough. I have too much crap. I know that's my fault. You don't need to hear that. I'm stressed out. And maybe I need to declutter, but then later I will freak out because I'll be like, why did I get rid of that stuff? I don't know. If you can relate, let me know. But this is a very, I don't know. Y'all, I am a mess. Struggling. I'm not gonna get into all of it. I'm just gonna cover a couple things today. I don't have the energy to do all of them, and I know I don't owe anybody any video. I know, but per usual, somebody can't get comfortable. Sit down. Sit down. Sit. Diva. So there's a few things to run through. Some things that happened on the Twitter. Some announcements, some updates, and of course there's much more, but I just can't go into all of it. I don't have the mental capacity. Okay. Welcome to another installment of Book Community, where I try to keep you abreast of the goings on in the bookish community, but that is nearly impossible because something happens every day, I swear. So a few things, a few hot tops, if you will. So this came out a couple weeks ago, but I forgot about it. So Tomi Adeyemi, who's the author of Children of Blood and Bone, before that book was even published, the rights were purchased by 20th Century Fox. And then the book came out. I didn't love it, but a lot of people did. Are you opening my door? A lot of people did, and the second book is out. The third, I don't know when that's coming out, but anyway, I guess they sat on the rights for too long. So 20th Century Fox was bought, and then Disney owned it, and then it was going to be made by Lucasfilms, but I guess they sat on the rights for too long, or they just sat on it and they let it expire, and then there was a bidding war, and Paramount Pictures has picked up the rights to the novel. And I think it's supposed to be adapted for a movie, so not like a TV show. So the rights lapsed in September 2021, and there was a bidding war between Netflix, Amazon, Universal Pictures, but Paramount won out, and it is a 7-figure guarantee, which I think was what she initially had when it was first purchased the rights. So I don't know when that's actually going to come out, when they're going to plan on filming, because I remember hearing about it before the book came out, and then I didn't hear anything about it for a while. So now the rights have been repurchased. Lots of money. I, again, didn't love the first book, so I didn't continue in the series, but I am very interested to watch the movie. I think it is something that would be really entertaining to watch, especially with a lot of money behind it. They can make it look really cool. So that'll be interesting. As for y'all's third book, I don't know when that's coming out. I don't know if Miss Thang's gonna finish, but yeah, just a quick update if y'all were wondering, because I was like, oh, I forgot about that. I hadn't heard about it in a long time. Because a lot of times people buy rights and they never adapt things, and I don't know why they do that, but whatever. I'm sure there's some capitalistic reason, right? A few weeks ago, I don't know what month recap it was on, but I brought up the topic that I think I saw in Publishers Weekly about like AI, like Siri and Alexa type voices becoming more prominent in audiobooks. And I, for one, I'm not a fan of the idea. I mean, a lot of people in the comments weren't also, but some people did bring up some interesting points, like it could make audiobooks more accessible, you know, because they are expensive, because they do have to pay voice actors, and you know, there's all the editing and stuff that goes into it. So I was like, which is fair. Or audiobooks for arcs. I've never, yeah, no, I've had audio arcs, but they're already like the book recorded. And so like there are some fair points. And so this came up again in another article at the end of January in Wired, talking about synthetic voices want to take over audiobooks. So currently Audible doesn't allow for that. And I guess someone found out that there were these books done by an AI voice, but it just had like an innocuous name like Nicholas Smith or something. And they tracked it down to like this company that basically sells like synthetic voices or something to read audiobooks. So right now that's not allowed through Audible. And the person, or in this article, they do bring up like that increasing access. So even beyond the price, is that a lot of audiobooks are created only in English, which is a fair point. I did not think about, of course, English is my language, so I didn't think beyond myself. I mean, I'm American, what do you expect? But that bringing in synthetic voices can increase the amount of languages the audiobooks are able to be translated into, or available for people in all these different languages. So I was like, okay, fair point. That is a fair point. It also talks about, because that the audiobook segment of publishing is doing so well compared to like ebooks and physical books, even though I haven't gone and like looked hardcore at the numbers. I don't even know how much information as a consumer that I could get to look at the numbers, because I feel like they're always saying publishing is struggling, but then I always see these quarterly articles like book print sales 10% up. So I'm like, which one is it? Y'all can buy a publishing company for $2 billion in cash, yet publishing is struggling. Like something's not adding up here. So that always makes me a little side eye, but I know that I was hesitant for audiobooks for a long time. And so the article was just talking about that over the last few years, a lot of people have really started listening to audiobooks, starting to, you know, make that as a normal part of their reading, where it probably took a while for that market to really grow. But I know it's really strong, especially with people who commute, or they're just convenient when you're like doing chores around the house, walking your dog. If you have a job where you maybe are doing just like some really simple task, and you can listen to an audiobook. So I started listening to them when I used to drive for work. So I know they're doing super well, and that makes me happy. I mean, I read physical books, ebooks, audiobooks, but I still don't know, like, obviously I'm thinking from my very limited American perspective, but I personally do not want to listen to any book narrated by a synthesized AI voice. I've listened to like, you know, when there's just an article for it to read it to you, and I was like, oh, this is misery. I do not want an entire book. I just think that there are good reasons why it could be helpful to many people, but for me, the narrator is such a make or break part of an audiobook that if it's bad, I'm not listening to it. I'm going to read it, but that also speaks to the, you know, the ability I can read it with my eyeballs. But yeah, there's just things in the book, in the script, in the way it's, or not the script, in the text, the way it's written, that they can't recreate. And I don't know, I just couldn't enjoy it. But so the article just says, you know, there are these companies that can provide these things, but right now it's not like a huge threat, but it does just keep coming up, and they're worried that if these like really catch on, that it can threaten existing authors and new and up and coming authors. If someone's main way of reading is an audiobook, and then they get a synthesized version, you know, they don't really have a voice actor, and they're like, I don't want to read this, and so they don't read the book at all. I don't know. I don't know how soon this is like to be a concern, because right now I feel like pretty much every book has a voice actor, and then obviously you have more money, you can pay more high profile people and stuff. So I'm sure the synthesized version would also be more affordable for like an indie author to hire than a voice actor. But it's a talent, it's a skill, and I just don't want it to, I don't want that to become the norm. If it's a thing, and it can get better over time, and it can make things more accessible in different languages and price points, sure, but I definitely don't want it to become the norm. No. And quickly, so again, I don't know what video I did it in, but when I was talking about Ruby Dixon's books, she is the author of the Ice Planet Barbarians, which are speculative romance novels. I think they're romance, or are they erotica? I'm not sure, I haven't read them yet. But randomly one day, all of her books got taken down off of Amazon. Luckily, she's been in the game for so long that she has a contact and she was able to get her books back up relatively quickly. But like I said in that video, that when that happens to a less well-known author, newer author, it's not always that easy. So I know that Izzy in her video, and then I also saw this talked about on Twitter, were mentioning that certain things that you tag or like in your description of your book on Amazon sometimes causes their AI or whatever, their algorithm, to pull the book down. So apparently having like content warnings, like I guess if you even have that phrase like content warning or trigger warning, it's sometimes automatically pulling books down because some authors are trying to provide those for readers, but then I guess maybe their algorithm is reading it as like, oh, this has graphic content, so this shouldn't be on here, and is pulling it down. And so I know that some authors are having it where it's on like their website, like you could go look at the content warnings for each book. But I just think that's really odd, because obviously, sure, you can say it's not a person, it's an algorithm, it's a computer, but the algorithm has to be programmed. So like why would you program it to do that? Oh my gosh. Shalom. Oh no. Nothing? So I guess you don't got it then. Okay. Hi, Vanini. Oh, thank you. Okay, I don't know where I was at, but I was saying that I find it odd that the phrase content warning or trigger warning is causing books to be pulled from Amazon. That's a positive thing, that authors are thinking ahead of their readers to put those things on there before they purchase a book or borrow a book, to know, maybe this isn't going to be for me. So it's not 100%, that just seems to be a common, people are, seeing a correlation between people who have those things and sometimes a book being pulled or hidden on Amazon. So it's very ghetto. I don't know what you do to, I don't know. Jeff, what's going on? I just thought of that TikTok sound. I was like, what's going on? Sorry. Sorry. Black. Thank God I'm black. Proud to be black. Nigel. Amen. Thank God we black, right? He loves being black. Okay. I don't know why the door keeps creaking open, Nigel, but you need to sit down. All right. Wait. Oh my God. I was almost about to skip. So I suffered, so I need you to suffer with me. That's my new philosophy in this life, that if I have to see something with my eyeballs, if my retinas have to observe something so atrocious, I am not going to be the only one who suffers. So prepare yourselves, because this is very unpleasant. So I was on Twitter, as I be, because I be's there, and someone, it was, the tweet is funny. It's not funny. It's funny, and it was like, something like, I really regret that they let us learn to read and write. And it was some screenshots of some covers of some books. I don't think they're romances. Maybe they're eroticas. I don't know if they're street lit. I have never come across them before this time. And now that was a blessing. BC. It was before being cursed, because these images have now cursed my life. So the author, some of y'all might have seen this, the pen name at least is Quan Millz. Now, there is speculation on Twitter that this is actually a white man, but there is no proof. They say that his name is actually Colby Durden or something. But if you click on Quan Millz Goodreads profile, this is the photo that you see. So I don't know. Anywho's, Quan Millz, whether they are black or Latinx or white, all I know is these book titles, at least, because I have not read any of them. Well, I did read a few pages of one and I am scarred for life. These book titles, at least, are very anti-black. I hate it. It is... Okay, I'm just gonna... I'm gonna read you some of these titles. This hoe got roaches in her crib. Bless you! Pastors eat pussy too. A ratchet Christian novella standalone. Oh my god. Don't worry, there's a This Hoe Got Roaches in Her Crib part 2 or episode 2. Yo Mama's on Crack Rock, a single black mother's cautionary tale of addiction. Games Hoes Love to Play, Mink Story, a prequel to Hoe is Life. Ho, Yo Coochie Stank. My Bad White Bitch, complete standalone. My boyfriend beats me, but I still love him. Like, it's... You see? So, when I first saw this, I was like, oh my god, this is bad. Somebody put a screenshot of the first, like, chapter of the pastor one, the Christian novella standalone, on Twitter, and I was like, oh my god. So I was like, oh, this will be funny. I'm going to, like, do a dramatic reading of this. But I have the clip. It is never aired because it was so uncomfortable. Now, I do not say the N-word in my real life. So me saying it sounds, you know, it's like when someone never curses, they just sound weird. That's how it sounds. It doesn't sound natural. It was, okay, just watch the clip. We are here, you are here, because I'm going to do a dramatic reading of this book. Not the entire thing, just some parts. This won't be a long video. The book is called Pastors Eat Pussy Too. So I was like, wow, seeing this on my Twitter timeline put me in a state of distress. I was like, is this fake? And people in the comments were sharing more books by this author, and it is not fake. And sit back and relax and just let me speak to you for a few minutes. Okay, prologue. Now, note to say, this is a dramatic reading, okay? So I've got to get into the parts. Yes, slob on that cat, passer. Eat that shit, oh nickel. You like how that cat tastes? Hell yeah, girl. I bit my bottom lip hard. What it tastes like? Tell me, I moaned. I held tightly to the side of Pastor's head with my hands as he relentlessly devoured the fuck out of my guts. Shit, tastes like candied yams, girl. And not that nasty ass shit in a can. I'm talking fresh yams with all types of marshmallow, cinnamon, brown sugar. He paused for a moment and ran his big bell pepper nose from my clit to my ass, taking a long whiff. You know you can't see me well. If you see this, please know that I'm just cracking up. Rewatching this, like when I was reading it, I felt uncomfortable, but rewatching it, it's so bad. And I feel so awkward reading it and like hearing myself. I'm sorry, the trauma that I've endured, I really, Quan Millz owes me money. I am so why? Look at this cover. Who? I'm sorry. This is not, like, I am very convinced to think that it is a white because of the absurdity of this, but you know, it could be, I don't know. It's just giving me anti-black. It's very disgusting. It's hateful. It's, oh. Anyway, I can't get those images out of my mind or the titles. So now I hope they're stuck in your mind too, and now we can suffer together. You're welcome. Happy Black History Month. Everyone has the right to write what they want, right? I feel like we need to snatch that back from some people though. And then we shouldn't judge people for what they read. But if someone were to tell me they were reading these books voluntarily and enjoying them, I would be judging you. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Absolutely not. Unacceptable, disgusting, and please don't recommend me anything like that, because I'm so mad because I got it on, it was on Kindle Unlimited. The Kindle was like, based on your last two. I'm like, no, please don't ever recommend me these books ever again, please. Trauma. I have suffered, y'all. Woo. Okay, so to the main events. I always say this is gonna be short. It's short for me, okay, because you know I'm not brief. But anyway, so the two big things really were with Romancelandia, which, you know, I have only recently stepped into, and they be going off in Romancelandia. So there is a big, I don't know if he considers himself a booktuber or just a YouTuber who also reads, but his name is Jack Edwards. He has a really large following, like I think over 600,000 or something. On the YouTubes, but he also reads books. I don't know if you want to call him a booktuber, whatever. So he recently was reading romance novels. I don't know if this was the first time, but as a project for YouTube, and he made a tweet, and it was no one romance books. This man is so big. He is just so huge. He towers over me. All I can think about is how big he is. His arms are big, but I have to contain this feeling. We work together, yet my mind is imagining a life with Mr. Big and all his enormousness. He is so big. And then he said, yes, I am making a YouTube video about romance books. Yes, I have read so many romance books in the past 2 weeks that I am going a bit insane. So far, my main observation is that the word big is used an absurd amount in the romance genre. It really made me laugh how Aaron Blackford in The Spanish Love Deception has literally 3 personality traits. He is big, huge, so big. He is mean. He has ocean eyes. Note the term ocean eyes specifically referenced 25 plus times. Just to clarify, I'm thoroughly enjoying my first foray into romance books and having fun with the tropes and conventions of the genre, the same way I have fun with every genre. Please, let's poke fun at ourselves and the literature we love. It's all good vibes here. So, I don't know if people didn't see the follow-up tweets, but a lot of people, and it was typically from what it looked like based on their photo, a lot of white women were mad at him, being like, oh, you're coming in and trying to claim all these things about the genre. So I was like just skipping past all of these tweets because for a while I didn't know what they were referencing, and then I found out what they were referencing, and then like honestly my bookmarks folder is out of hands. I was like, I can't keep track of all these tweets. I did see one that was still relatively towards the top where, okay, so someone said, another man dunking on a whole genre with some research. This should be fun, Romancelandia, batten down the hatches. So there were a lot of people who were saying like, you're just starting in this genre, romance is for women, by women, how dare you come in and critique the genre? And it's like obviously a joke, but honestly, what am I saying? But also a fact. Every book is like,
oh my god, he was tall, dark, and handsome. He was so big. His arms, so big. His mind, so big. His attitude, so big. His dick, so big. Everything about him is so big. Oh my god, how will I contain him? How can I take him? Oh my god, he's so big.
Literally though, literally. There is really no love for short kings and romance books. That's fine, that's fine. But, I mean, it was funny, and then also it was a fact. So I saw it, and then I was like, and scrolled past, as I do most things on Twitter, but people really got riled up, but then people came back and were like, one, it's just a joke, and two, it is pretty accurate. And then also, why are you trying to like gatekeep romance? He's allowed to read romance. Like, are you saying just because he's a new reader he can't make any kind of commentary on it, and because he's a new reader and also a man he can't make commentary on what he's reading? Like, it'd be different if he came in with something super like, oh, all these romance books and these stupid happily ever afters, and you silly women who like, you know, like if it was something super negative and like looking down on people who enjoyed romance, but it wasn't. And also the follow-up tweet where he said he was enjoying it, just noting some typical tropes, things, norms that he's seeing in the romance books. So I'm sorry I don't have a lot of tweets for you, just because I just saw, I was like, I'm not doing this. But romance can be for everybody, and there are some issues with genre, and everyone does not write the same. And you know, obviously there's traditionally published and there's indie, and there's just all sorts of romance, from very closed door, you know, nothing on page, to, you know, just erotica. Like, there's just everything. There's something for someone out there. And also, you can critique things you enjoy. It is possible. You can say, I love this thing, but I also note that this thing could be better. So I just need romance Twitter to get it together. But then again, the next thing that happened, so I was on a live stream with Heather, and was it with Gina? And I forgot how we got onto it, but we were talking about an author who writes a woman, a cisgender woman who writes male romances, and someone asked why doesn't she write any sapphic romances, so to women, and she said something about not being comfortable, and I can't remember the author, so I don't want to say who it was, not being comfortable with writing that, which is odd as a cisgender woman to not be comfortable with writing stories between women, but be comfortable writing stories between men. And again, it's not that you can't do that, that just seems to be an odd statement. And so as I was on this live stream, I can't help it, I was on Twitter, and I saw a tweet by the beautiful, the lovely Jack Harbon. Nigel, what's up? Okay, so the tweet was, which I love because this is one of my favorite sounds on TikTok, and the sound on TikTok is, I have a question, and don't fight me, because I know how you girls love to tussle. So Jack said, I have a question, and don't fight me, because I know how you girls love to whimper at an ounce of pushback. But what do women gain from exclusively and solely writing erotica and romance about queer men? Like, if I, as a cis-ish man, wrote nothing but women love women in often toxic relationships, I rightfully have criticism, or at the very least some questions to answer. It would feel like fetishization, obsession, I don't get it. A white person writing solely about black people, able-bodied writing solely about disabled people, see how it's getting weird? And it does. And notice the phrasing, the wording of his tweet said solely and exclusively writing those, not at all, just only writing those stories. And they are, I hear a lot of things about a lot of books written by what appear to be, because we don't know, cisgender women that are very like toxic and like bully, just really unhealthy relationships with two men. So that, I saw that tweet and I read it to Heather because it was relevant to like what we were talking about, like, yeah. And so we were talking about that, like, obviously there's nuance to the conversation. It isn't like black or white, but it is an interesting thing. And I was like, well, I'm glad someone asked, because I would love to know also, why do some women seem to only write queer romance between men? And so, oh child, the whites lost it. And a lot of people, once again, reading comprehension, there is none on Twitter, it seems. And of course, everyone didn't read everything and also took it in bad faith, and also didn't understand the initial reference to the Twitter or the TikTok sound. So it's just like, But it's the same thing. As a white person, you can write about different ethnicities from your own, but it would be weird if you were only writing like, yeah, I only write Black love romance, or I only write about these things, and you're not a part of that group. Or like he said, if you're an able-bodied person and you're only writing about this, you're just, at some point, it's not your lived experience. So why is that the focus of your work? It comes off, it just seems weird and obsession-y like, and doesn't seem wholesome or, you know, genuine. So people were accusing him of, I mean, everything. So a lot of people were upset because they read this as no women are allowed to write these romances, and then it went to the conversations of people who've had to come out sooner than they wanted to because they wrote queer stories, and then people questioned them, and then they had to, you know, admit, hi, I'm bisexual, or I'm trans, or like coming out before they were prepared to feel like, to prove it to readers, which is not okay at all. I've talked about this before, and that's the problem with the whole own voices things. But he did not say that in his tweet. He said solely, and he was asking, not like, hey, if you write this, you're a terrible person. It obviously has been a way for people who weren't sure of, or didn't even know they were questioning their sexual identity or their gender identity, a way for them to maybe explore that. And through writing that, they realized, hey, maybe I am gay, or maybe I am transgender. That but to get that from his tweet is so wild to me. He did not imply that you have to be a gay man to write gay romance. He's asking why solely. And it doesn't, and not to say any of these women may not come down the line, come out to be queer or trans or non-binary, any of these things. But it was just a question. And granted, it is a question on Twitter where no one knows how to read, and obviously no nuance exists there. But the leaps and bounds that people took from this tweet to their, like, things they were accusing Jack of was ridiculous. Because again, the internet loves to pretend everything is black and white. It is not. Things overlap. Like the entire internet, while some things, the Venn diagram is a circle, there are some things that maybe overlap here, but don't overlap there. Like, it's just not as simple as you do this, you do this, you do this, and this means you are this. No. And I just wish there was a better I don't know if we can ever get to a place where there's a good platform where people can ask genuine questions and actually get engagement and discussion and conversation that's in good faith, and not everyone skimming the tweet and then attacking the person. Like, I don't know what that is, if that can only happen maybe in real life, but I wish it could happen, because people, and not even just this, like me myself with certain things that maybe aren't my lived experience, but I want to know more about it. I have a question. And then when you have a platform of people that is, you know, larger than the amount of people you know in real life, obviously that's a great sample size. So you're like, well, somebody in this group may know, so let me ask a question. But you can't ask a question because everybody wants to read into it and look and go into it with bad faith and always think that you're out to attack people. And it's just like, goddamn. Can we have nothing? There were people who had sense and realized that Jack was bringing up a good question, and that's something that maybe we should discuss, why the majority of stories told about queer gay men are written by usually white cisgendered women. It's a good question. Something just like the thing with, I realize now, was when Jack Edwards, like, every single romance book is about how big he is. Again, you can love something but also ask questions and critique it. You can love a genre but want it to be better. There's nothing that's perfect. I mean, rarely. Nigel is, but you know, rare. I love this quote tweet. What I've learned, or what we've learned from Jack's tweet: 1, a lot of y'all can't or just don't read. I think I'm not gonna say that. 2, y'all do not understand what words mean. 3, hit dog will once again always holla. 4, romance readers want to be oppressed so bad. 5, some of y'all are fucking idiots. See lessons 1 and 2 above. Truly, it is like, when I read a tweet, I really want us all to practice this. When I read a tweet and I'm like, oh, I'm like, let me slow down, because it is very easy to be scanning and skimming and not get the full picture. So I'm like, you know what, let me pause the television. Let me read the tweet. Maybe let me read it aloud. Maybe the punctuation was missing, or maybe I paused at the wrong place. Maybe I read that wrong. So I'm gonna read it a few times. And then if I'm really upset about it, I send it to people. I'm like, what are you getting from this tweet? What kind of vibe? What are you know, and sometimes they're like, oh my God, ugh, da da da. And then, you know, very rarely do I don't usually jump into things, because Twitter, I'm usually like, ugh, I knew it, I was mad, and keep going, or mute or block, depending. But sometimes they're like, well, I kind of see it like da 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 da, and I'll send it to other people, and I'm like, oh, okay, maybe I read that wrong, maybe I took that wrong. I need people to take a moment. You know, there is no timer. I feel like people take Twitter as if they only have like 10 seconds to decide. It's like, if you don't reply to this tweet right now, if you don't quote tweet this tweet right now, it will disappear off your timeline. You can never reply to it again. You can take a screenshot of it, or you could stay right there. You could read it. You could think about it. You could share it. Like in your group chat, you can be like, what are you? Before jumping down someone's throat and accusing them of being all these things that they're not, because you read the tweet wrong. It's unacceptable. Nowhere in his tweet was he saying, you as a cis woman cannot write queer romance, or that people exploring their sexuality or gender identity through writing romance is wrong. Once again, I can read it for you. I have a question. And don't fight me, because I know how you girls love to whimper at an ounce of pushback. But what do women gain from exclusively and solely writing erotica and romance about queer men? Because if it was reversed, if it was only what appeared to be cis men writing sapphic romance, I feel like there would be a lot of issues. And in general, I think there just seems to be more queer romance and sapphic romance in general, and I don't know why, but I feel like if this were an issue with a lot of straight white men, well, who knows, child, they let them get away with it anyway, writing nothing but sapphic romances, and they were always just toxic, harmful, gross relationships, people would have something to say about it. It's giving zero reading comprehension to me. It's giving, we wanted to jump on this person because they're a black man and I don't like his opinions on romance. It's giving, y'all need to get it together because y'all are trifling, and do better, please. I really want us to slow down. I know we love to scroll and have on something TV in the background. Trust me, I know, but I'm gonna need y'all to pause, read it again before you start quote tweeting and retweeting and calling people outside their name and all these ridiculous things when you didn't even understand the tweet. Please do better. And also think about it. I don't know what else to say. This has been longer than I intended. But those were the main things. I need Romancelandia to chill out. I know that a lot of people have looked down on romance for many years. I used to be one of those people. Don't get me wrong. And I now have been welcomed into the romance community, and it's lovely. And there's something for everyone, and there's so many subgenres of romance and so many books that have elements of romance in it. And we know romance is dominating. It rakes in the coin every year, okay? I understand that some people still crap on romance, but you being a romance reader is not putting you do not get the gold medal in the oppression Olympics. I really need some of y'all to stop trying to reach to be like stomped on so bad. You're okay. You're fine. Chill out, please. Read your romance books and participate respectfully, kindly, have an open mind in these conversations so that the genre can just become better. That's it. I think that's all we're trying to do here. But that's it for me. That's it for me. Nigel got tuckered out early. He was like, girl, you said this was gonna be brief, and here you go flopping your gums. But Bill, you are who the people come for, and you just be sleep. They don't want to see my mug. Oh, they don't want to see my mug. They want to see your beautiful face. It's funny that you're getting all this sleep since you kept me up last night. How you getting all this sleep when I'm tired? That's not fair. You want to sing a song with mommy? Let's sing a song. Come on, Nigel. I won't take it back. I'm proud to be black. Say it, Nigel. Come on. Hey. Hey. What? I'm proud to be black. Hey, Nigel. Hey, man. Say it again. Nigel. He knows he's black. He's just being grumpy. His name is Nigel Lavondrius. Like, you can't be... Ain't no white man. That's not no white man name. Right, boo-boo? Nigel, I just find it rude that you get a nap and I'm up here awake because you kept me up at night. Tell the beautiful people hello. Show them your beautiful self. Say hello. Hello. Anywho's, I hope you all are doing okay. I told myself I just had to film this one video and then I could go lay on the couch. So that's what I'm gonna go do. Whew. Appreciate you all for watching. Give this video a thumbs up, subscribe. I'll have links to any information, any article, anything I shared, linked down below, ways to support my channel. And I think that's it. So stay blessed, hydrated, moisturized, and sunscreened. And I'll see you in another one. Bye. Okay, so I say bye and now you come up here. There's always that one person that will always have my heart. You never seen it coming cause you're blinded from the start. Know that you're the one for me. It's clear from everyone who sees. Oh baby, ow, you will always be my boo. You my boo-boo?